Vic Fangio just finished the most revealing press conference of Eagle OTAs, as the Birds DC detailed his master plan for Philadelphia's most dangerous weapon. Plus, the best update on Jihaad Campbell we could have hoped for, and why these dogs are about to go nuclear in 2025. From Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. Day 4 of Eagle OTAs aside for just 1 second, the hands-down funniest clip of the entire offseason, in my opinion, just dropped yesterday as Jeremiah Trotter Sr. went on WIP and dropped a revelation that Eagles superstar Jalen Carter actually has no idea how to play defensive tackle yet and has simply been dominating on raw talent alone.
The word is on the street, he doesn't even know how to play the position yet. I'm listen, from some guys I talked to inside, he doesn't even know how to play the position yet. Wow. He's just playing off raw talent.
Wow.
So the sky's the limit for this kid, you know? So I'm excited about his future.
And by hilarious, I mean if Trotter's actually right about this and it's just been raw talent that's been having Jalen Carter dominate the NFL, once he actually figures out how to play defensive tackle, the entire league is going to be completely screwed. Although first off, I honestly don't really believe this for a second that Carter has no clue what he's doing. This play right here versus the Rams earlier last season alone shows that Carter recognized a zone blocking scheme to the left and let his entire team know it pre-snap before blowing up the run. You don't play defensive tackle on the Philadelphia Eagles in Vic Fangio's defense or the University of Georgia for that matter and not know how to play the position. But I do think Trotter's point was that JC has only just begun to scratch the surface of his playing ability. Once he enters his quote-unquote prime, which really I think should be this year, year 3 in the NFL, he's going to be on another level that we have not seen in the league since, dare we say, prime Aaron Donald. Now, I know it doesn't really apply to day 4 of Eagle OTAs, but I found it so funny because if Jalen Carter, as good as he is right now, has not scratched the surface, then what is the NFL even going to do this coming season when they play him? Now, in terms of the best thing I heard yesterday, I think it was Saquon Barkley's post-Madden cover media tour hit on the NFL Network where the famed Madden curse was brought up once again, and Saquon did a real good job shutting that down.
The curse. It's the Madden curse. Are you a believer in curses? Does that factor into your headspace at all as you get that call and know that your face is going to be on that game?
Nah, I'm a believer in God. That's my mindset, to be completely honest.
Listen, I get the Madden curse concern. I mean, just last year, Christian McCaffrey graced the cover and then played just 4 games. The previous 3 running back cover athletes before CMC and Saquon all struggling to play more than 10 games apiece. But the Eagles have actually been curse breakers as of late, with Barkley himself completely ending the whole "you can't pay a running back a second big-time contract after the age of 27 narrative just last year. Better yet, how about Jalen Hurts himself becoming the first quarterback out of the previous 19 to lose their first Super Bowl appearance as a starter and actually make it back a second time, and oh yeah, he actually won. Plus, if you're a stat guy, well, the Madden curse stat should help you relax a little bit with 14 of 24 cover athletes, or 58%, 2001 to 2024, having been cursed. But just 3 of the 10 cover athletes, or 30% from the last 10 years, 2015 to 2025, have actually been cursed. There also hasn't been back-to-back curses since 2011, 2012. So if Saquon's not worried about it, the stats prove that we shouldn't be worried about it, then I'm not going to worry about it. The Madden curse, not a big deal. Saquon's going to be fine. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to one of my favorite sponsors on the channel, Extra. Now this right here is the Extra Wallet Pro. And Extra sent it to me a couple of months ago and I swapped my cards into it and made it my daily driver wallet, and this thing has been fantastic. Holds about 14 cards, made of premium Italian leather, and has this quick release button right here, so 7 cards up top and boom, easy access. This right here, though, is the new Extra Card Holder Pro, and if you're like me and want the thinnest wallet possible made of 100% aluminum, this bad boy is the one you want. I mean, every Extra wallet is extremely thin, but the Card Holder Pro is what I love because all I have is credit cards these days, and I got 7 up top, quick release handle, boom, they pop up, quick access to whatever I need, and I'm on the go. And whether you need the Wallet Pro or the Card Holder Pro, either way, I know you probably need a new wallet because if you're like my father, my brother, or me, you've had the exact same wallet for way too long. It is time for an upgrade, and you got to choose one of these too. And speaking of fathers, Father's Day, it's right around the corner, and so the perfect gift is ready for you. And right now, Extra is having up to 40% off on their website, but use my promo code and link down below, Thomas Mott. That's the promo code. You get up to 50% off your first order. 50% off my favorite wallet. Get one for yourself, one for your dad. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Now, moving over to roster news, and Philadelphia technically did make a couple of roster moves yesterday, beginning with the official submission of the Brandon Graham retirement papers, meaning BG's roster spot is now free, and he has officially 5 years before technically being eligible for the Hall of Fame. Now, BG's roster spot was filled relatively quickly by newly signed offensive lineman Marcus Tate, who went undrafted out of Clemson this past April, but was a 4-year starter at, guess where, left guard. he can stay healthy, there might be a practice squad spot for him in the future. We also finally got the Bryce Huff official trade details, as that, quote, mid-round draft pick the Niners gave up that we didn't know what it was is officially a conditional 2026 fifth rounder that could become a fourth if Huff meets unspecified playing conditions. This, of course, now means the Eagles are projected to have 13 picks in the 2026 NFL draft, including 3 third-rounders, 2 fourth-rounders, and a staggering 5 fifth-round draft picks. So, yeah, I would say if the Eagles need to make any sort of trades in the near future, or even during the draft next year, they have more than enough ammo to pull that one off. I've said all offseason long, if Philadelphia and Howie Roseman were going to make one more last-minute trade, it'd be post-June 1st, and we're post-June 1st, and so technically it could happen any day now, although Howie in the past has shown he likes to wait till training camp, see how his guys look the first couple of weeks, and then pull the trigger, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, for instance. So, it doesn't happen in June. If they want to do it, August could be the time as well. Stay tuned. Now, of course, Vic Fangio was the true star of today, as the Birds DC spoke to the media for the first time since Philadelphia's drubbing of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And in Vic's usual, honest, what I love, no-nonsense way, revealed some very interesting nuggets about his plans for the Birds' new defense in 2025. Starting, of course, with a very promising Jihaad Campbell update, as Vic confirmed he's not ready yet, but will practice come August.
Well, right now he's working at ILB because there's a lot more to learn there. So that's where we'll start him. He won't hit the practice field until, sometime in August. So we're doing all we can. He's doing all he can in meetings. We're doing all we can with him on the field. I take him to the side and do an individual drill with him that's suited to what he can do right now. So he's working good and trying to pick it up.
August is, of course, training camp, which means Campbell's going to have a chance to truly practice first and potentially start week 1. That's truly a massive deal. We've had no real update on where Campbell was in his rehab. Would he be ready for training camp week 1, start on the PUP list? This gives us the best indication that there could be a chance the Eagles rookie is your starter against the Cowboys. And to get him ready, it seems like Fangio is working very, very hard in that category, as he had Jihaad off to the side today yet again for some individual one-on-one work with the DC Mastermind. Now, Fangio, when talking about Campbell, gave a little of a side on Cooper DeJean, saying he's going to be out for a while, which Twitter went crazy on this one. But you and I know it's a little bit different. Because, of course, I was with Cooper DeJean just last week and asked him for an update on his rehab, to which Dean assured me he is way ahead of schedule and could be ready for camp, but wants to take it slow to confirm he's 100% before rushing onto the field, due to, of course, being a contract year for the linebacker. So I read all of this as Cooper DeJean will not be ready for week 1. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. as of right now, and probably day 1 of training camp, will start next to Zach Bond, but the Campbell update of an early August timeline means the Birds rookie, I think, could really be in line to start opening night. If not, Trotter will. Either way, good sign. Next, I love Fangio's raving review of Jordan Davis, whose fitness and conditioning has always been a big question for the Big DT heading into each season. Well, if you're to believe Vic this time around, he's currently seeing the best version of Jordan Davis ever and expecting a huge 2025 season.
Jordan last year, I would say the last 7 or 8 games, including the playoffs, played very well down the stretch. And I think that's carried over into this offseason, and I anticipate it carrying over into the season. I think he's in the best shape that he's ever been in, which he kind of got into late in the season last year, and he's carried it over. So I think he's going to do very well for us this year.
Again, I was also with Jordan Davis last week, and I 100% agree. Trust me, in person, this is the most in shape he's truly ever been. And Vic also wasn't lying when he said Jordan Davis really started to figure things out towards the end of last season, similar to both how Nolan Smith and Jalen all started to come alive deep into the postseason run. I think there's a real scenario where Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, and Jalen all explode in 2025, and they go from being good role players like JD was to virtually non-existent like Nolan and Jalen were early on last year to legitimate starters and legit threats to be, I'm not going to say Pro Bowlers, maybe, but they're going to be very good. Now, moving back to the secondary, I think Vic Fangio gave us his biggest admission of the entire day, that his plan for Cooper DeJean is to play him at nickel the majority of snaps, but then in base defense, either have him play at safety or on the outside of corner.
Yeah, I would like to keep him at nickel. And then in our base package, we'll find a spot for him, either at corner or safety. Yeah, I think a lot of it will end up depending upon how the rest of the guys develop and where do we most need them. So it will be determined by what's best for him and what's best for the team. And it'll probably, what's best for the team will win out in that decision. But he's capable of playing corner and he's capable of playing safety. Well, I think he would play very well at safety. I think it suits his skill set, things that he does well. I just think he would do very well in there.
And this echoes what DeJean hinted at last week. Philadelphia sees Coop as such a legit weapon on defense, they don't want him sitting no matter what coverage they're in. Sure enough, today, during OTAs, Cooper DeJean was your starting outside corner in base 7-on-7 drills. All this tells me that the NFL truly is in massive trouble, and I'm not just saying that as an Eagle homer. If Vic Fangio thinks Cooper DeJean, who was arguably the best rookie defender in the entire league last year, must be on the field at all times, then he truly believes that this guy is going to be a superstar, and number 33 is in for a massive season in year 2. Which is crazy that we're at this point in the secondary, because just 2 years ago, I would have never thought this was possible. And maybe safety is where he ends up living. If Keely Ringo plays well, if Edward Jackson wins the job, they might want to keep those guys as your base cornerbacks. And then you have a scenario where it's DeJean and Blankenship, the two exciting whites on the back end. Either way, they're going to make the best decision possible for the team. But Vic Fangio also hinted at the entire safety battle outside of Cooper DeJean being Sidney Brown, Tristan McCollum, and Drew Makuba. And today's practice showed they don't truly know who's going to win that job, and Vic echoed that during his presser.
It's a competition that, it's going to take a training camp, a few preseason games to sort out. And Tristan's in that too.
My gut right now is that this should be Sidney Brown's job to lose, basically because he was the starter in 11-on-11s today and also has been here the longest. But if Vic's track record with rookie secondary pieces is anything to go on, then Drew Makuba has a legit shot as well. Now, as far as big plays from practice, the lone standout was Jalen Hurts hitting Dallas Goedert in stride on a go ball right in front of Zach Bond, as Philadelphia's QB1 finished 15 of 17 with no touchdowns or picks. Again, no pads, so obviously take it with a grain of salt. There was also no Devontae Smith at practice, and A.J. Brown was there but didn't participate in 11-on-11s, and so Hurts' weapons were greatly limited. OTA 11-on-11s are very hard to go ahead and kind of garner anything from, but a nice pass gets a praise, and so good on Jalen Hurts. Plenty of good talk about the cornerback spot, Cooper DeJean, the safety spot, where the linebackers are at, most notably Jihaad Campbell. That update to me is really the big news from today, along with obviously Cooper DeJean. But now we kind of get ready for a mandatory minicamp. We're going to get some more news starting next week, and things are going to be very interesting in terms of what Howie Roseman wants to do. If after OTAs he sees like they have a hole, does he make a move? Will he not? We'll cover it all here. Stay tuned for the video on Thursday. We're going to have another very exciting giveaway, something I actually have never done, so sub for that. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out on a Tuesday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.